our show because we recorded our show.
What, he doesn't listen to your recordings?
No, live. He's here live, but isn't joining in our show live.
Oh, I don't know. He likes us more. I don't know.
He might. I think he might.
Ever since Mary started talking about the trains, Jared's all in now, right, Jared? Jared has to make sure that we're talking correctly about the trains.
Yeah.
Or we'll hear from Jared. We've gotten a lot of very strongly worded letters from Jared in the past couple episodes. He's the Dane of our podcast.
Right.
Fact checker.
So Chris, we'll keep this one streaming since Joe's on.
Sounds good.
I want to give him
fun. It's kind of a different show tonight. It's kind of cool,
we're laid back. Cat's away.
Here we go, Joe. Give me shit.
Mommy's out, so exactly. The boys are gonna misbehave. But yeah, I want to give Joe as much advertising and kudos as we possibly can.
I thought the episode was average at best. I'm gonna be before Joe gets on here. I'm just gonna be honest with you. I thought the show was average at best.
Stop.
It was good. It was a good episode.
I loved it. No, I was sad that I had to stop watching because I was watching it live, but I had to come record this, and I didn't know it was gonna. I didn't. No, but like it's what time did it start at, Joe? 7 or 6:30.
I think like 6:30.
6:30, and what we're recording at 8, right?
Yeah.
I think we were recording at 8 that night. So usually their episodes are an hour. So I'm thinking, oh wow, it'll be an hour. No. They were just getting started when I left.
Yeah.
So I'm actually excited to listen to the finished product now, which I didn't get a chance to do yet.
Yeah, it's just because he has so many great stories and so much information to share with us. So it just kept on going and going.
All right, I don't know why I'm talking about this off air.
Yeah, I know. Hey Chris, while I'm thinking about it, do you have a high quality logo that we can send to Joe?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm gonna put you guys on our website.
Oh,
like the pictures on our website and stuff like that. Yeah.
Oh yeah. I can.
Thank you so much, man.
Yeah,
I really appreciate it.
The uncensored one or the censored one? I'll send you the censored one. The Disney podcast.
Yeah. All right, Chris, you got my time again.
Yep. Megan just said, what about picking a loosely based theme every week and then advertising certain Facebook groups that match that theme?
Yeah,
that's pretty interesting.
I think that's a really good idea. But the three of us are just so all over the place.
We'd have to do it after the fact. They're like, hey, we talked about this week. And
but again, I mean, like last week was the closest I think we ever came to that. Because
last week?
Mary had ghost stories and you went into alternate universe conspiracy theories. So like segment 2 and 3 definitely connected. Me talking about like my daughter saying, I really wasn't paying attention. That does nothing.
Joe, I brought my conspiracy segment back.
You did?
And I hit him with the third eye too.
That's awesome, man. Hey, what you guys are saying right now is this like 5 minutes ago, you were sitting there talking about basketball and then you switched over to football and you switched over to hockey
misery.
like all in one.
That was just misery, Joe. That was just misery. Misery loves company.
Joe, do you know what that first segment was? I was so excited that we're live streaming that I figured out how to live stream, that I'm watching the live stream and watching comments come in that I completely forgot that we were recording a podcast.
Just dudes being guys, Joe.
All right.
I'm going to start it up.
You got me on time?
Yep, let's go.
All right, 3, 2, 1. Welcome back to the No New Friends podcast with Scott, Mary, and Chris. Mary is still out a little bit under the weather. We recorded this all in one shot, so nothing's going to change the rest of this episode. We also have Ghost Mary that will pop in and out every once in a while. Patreon, let's talk about that real quick. Very important. Please join our Patreon. You can sit in the live studio audience like Jared. You can comment on our Discord channel and do all sorts of fun things. And I'm thinking of adding another tier, just a $1 tier that just gives you access to the Discord. So we'll see. But a lot of fun things. We're still streaming this segment live on Facebook. Make sure you like and follow us on Facebook. We're going to do this every week. We'll do one segment an episode live streaming. We're going to do 2 this week because we brought a special guest on for this segment from the Diz Hiz podcast. Joe is back once again. Joe, how you doing tonight, man?
Good. How are you guys doing?
Good. So I wanted to bring you on for a specific reason, and I kind of started to talk about it in segment 1, and then I stopped myself. So Joe's podcast, and Joe's been on this show before, the Diz Hiz, it's all about Disney history, had one of those podcast episodes that is the type of episode that wins awards. Okay. Why don't you tell our audience all about it? Because I'm so excited about it because I could not stop listening. I'm going to fumble. Like, look, I'm going on and on. Joe,
Well,
take
Scott,
it over.
so I do want to make a comment saying that Scott said nothing nice about the episode that I hosted for you guys.
That's not true. I said that your episode was very funny.
He said it was in the bottom 5. Go ahead.
Boy.
Bottom 5. So I don't know. I mean, it was definitely a good episode, but I like all of our episodes because all of our episodes is different in a way.
And all of your episodes are fantastic.
Thank you. I mean, thank you so much for saying that. That really means a lot, coming from you, Scott. And I'm really thankful to all of our listeners and everyone who supports our show. I mean, it means more than because we started this podcast a couple of years ago, and we weren't really expecting to be where we're at right now with it, especially in the middle of a pandemic. But this past episode, we had Disney animator, Imagineer Timmy Britt in our show, and which was super cool, really cool guy. He is just to kind of go off, him and I have been talking after the show, and he's promoting his book. So he's been in a whole bunch of Disney shows, and he came to me. He's like, listen, I love your show. I want to come back on your show. I didn't want to promote the book. I just want to come back on your show and talk Disney. Because that's what we do. We talk Disney, and we have a good time doing it. We're just normal. We're not, we don't work for Disney. We're just normal, everyday people that go to Disney. And that's one of the cool things about our show. And that's why I think that he likes it so much, is that we have none of us, the hosts on our show, have any kind of broadcasting history. Like, I've never had a show before. I don't have any kind of history of broadcasting, and we're just regular people. So he's like, I want to come back on. Doesn't matter what it is. And he's actually going to be doing a hour special thing with my son with art. He's like, hey, yeah, man, it's super cool. That's so amazing. Timmy Britt Studios, go ahead and check him out. Check out his book. Super cool guy. I'm also a teacher. My wife's a teacher. He's coming down to Florida in October, and he's going to he wants to do like a special presentation at the schools, because his main interest, which is super cool after talking with him, is that he wants to go ahead and get imagination to kids to use their imagination. Art, yeah, exactly. Art is super important. Using your imagination is super important, and that he doesn't want to see that die. Right. Awesome. So he wants to get kids. He said that if he can go ahead and get a couple kids to be like, something, I want to be a Disney Imagineer. That's what he wants to do. That's his goal, which is super cool. Yeah,
that everything really, really came together in that episode, because it was a little bit, and one of the things that I tell you all the time is how much I love how structured your show is. That show didn't follow the normal Diz Hiz structure, but it was perfect that way.
In the best way possible.
Best way possible, because that guy had so much passion. And I think that you, Alex, and Jen just asked the right questions at the right time, didn't try to force your process. That would have been tough for me, because I don't know who on your show is the control enthusiast. I'm definitely the control enthusiast here. Like, we could be I want to, hit certain things and follow certain things. And you guys were brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. It's not just about the guest that you had, because he was fantastic, but you can take a good guest and not have the best host, and it can ruin it. It was brilliant. Absolutely brilliant.
No, thank you. And I'm kind of the way that you're talking about, where I like for things to be in order, but I kind of look at like a guest coming on our show as someone coming into your house, and I want them to be the guest. So everything I want them to feel comfortable. I want them to share everything that they want to share, and I want to be kind of respectful in a way. So I feel happy that it felt like I was not even myself, but Alex, Jen, we were all being respectful of him and his stories, because he had great stories.
Oh, unbelievable stories.
So Joe, you didn't really elaborate here. So, but for our audience, this guy worked on Main Street USA. He worked on given a couple of the other
So
he worked on. It was
so
amazing.
not only over at Disney, but he worked over at Universal. He did Hagrid's motor bike adventure or whatever. Adventure. Yeah, he did that. He did Norway.
You stick to the Disney stuff. I'll take care of the Universal stuff.
He did Frozen, the Norway Pavilion. When they switched over to Frozen, Arendelle. He did Pandora. He worked on Pandora. So he worked on like, the
So
floating mountains and stuff like that.
with all that being said, going into an interview with like a person like that, like how intimidating was that, if at all? Like, was that like how do you prepare
course.
for something like that?
You know, I just kind of wing it, to tell you the
Yeah,
truth.
he was winging it, and it made for great content.
It was
Like, it
Yeah.
was awesome.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. It was definitely a lot of fun. I can't wait to get some more Disney animators and Disney Imagineers on our show, because I just love to hear these stories about Disney. Like he
Oh,
shared some
everyone
stories
does. Yeah.
that's about the Main Street Diary, where these managers are passing around like a diary of all
Yeah.
like this. They're doing like the special memories or whatever. And I just actually recorded a virtual spotlight with him yesterday. And his memory, like if you're thinking about a Disney Imagineer, what kind of memory are you going to get? Right? You probably think of some
Yeah.
really awesome like Disney memory.
Yeah.
But what's really cool about my virtual spotlights is that he shared a memory that was like personal to him with his kids. And he's like,
Oh,
listen, I never
wow.
really mentioned my kids, but he's like, I'm gonna go ahead and share a memory with my kid. And it was really, really cool. It was like really simple, but simple is just so cool. It was a memory of
That's
him,
pretty cool.
and he took a picture of his kids when they were younger, right? I think he said his daughter was 5 and his son was 3. And at the time that when they were at Disney, they had McDonald's there, right? They were serving McDonald's there, and his daughter was stealing a French fry from his son. So this picture, his daughter stealing a French fry, and his son's like sitting there and he's like scowling. He's like really angry, right? And his daughter is just laughing, thinking it's like it's the funniest thing. It has like the French fry in her mouth, right? So his son's mad, his daughter's like super laughing, or whatever, and Disney's in the background. He says he has it like on his phone, that picture from like how many years ago. He said that's like one of his favorite Disney memories. That memory's awesome, right? So cool, right?
Someone who worked on floating mountains, his favorite memory is it's the ceiling. But that's what Disney's all about, and that's the magic of Disney. You know what I mean?
Right, exactly.
And
right.
it says a lot about the people that work for them. These creative minds, like they're just people like me and you. You know what I mean? It's not like, oh, my favorite Disney memories when I won this award or that award. It's when my son stole French fry and I got it on.
Yep. Super cool.
That's awesome.
Exactly.
Now that's going to be on YouTube, Joe.
Yep, I'm going to edit. I'll be up on YouTube sometime next week.
Awesome.
Very cool. And you can find Diz Hiz, dizhiz.com. All of their links are there. Just go there, find them. A lot of times I hear from our listeners, why don't you guys talk about Disney and Universal more? And look, we're going to do that. We're going to naturally do that. But there's so many out there. I'm trying not to do that. But I tell everybody, dude, check out Diz Hiz, check out Remy's Roundtable. They're your theme park guys. Diz Hiz deep dive into the history. My mom's going to start listening to you guys. And like, she's never listened to a podcast until I started podcasting.
That's cool. I'm happy to hear that.
Yeah, she scolded me a little bit because she's like, you called your episode all about Disney and you guys only talked about Disney for like 15 minutes. And I'm like, well, we'll have Joe back on again. My bad. So part 2 of that episode comes out next week, right?
Yep, it's gonna come out next Tuesday. Yep. So he has a whole bunch more stories to share.
I can't wait. And I don't know if you could tell the difference between this episode for me and all the other ones. All the other ones, I'm constantly messaging you.
Yeah.
I couldn't stop. Like I didn't even want to type anything because I was afraid I was going to miss him say something.
I'm so happy to hear that, because when I'm listening to it, I'm just like, oh, we're just doing our thing. And I just want to give out good stuff, right? And I want to give good history because we're a history podcast, obviously. And I want people who are not at Disney to think that they're at Disney, kind of, just imagining that they're there. So I'm just happy that you think it's such a great episode, because it means a lot to me.
It does. And I'm obviously we are super critical of our own stuff.
Yeah.
But then I listen with a critical ear to Diz Hiz and Remy's Roundtable, because you guys are my friends, and I want to be able to offer a nugget here or a nugget there, or maybe something that you could tweak, just as I would hope that you guys would do with me. If you hear something that you think could be better, I want to hear about it. I didn't have anything. It was perfect. It was flawless.
Thank you.
It was like you guys had been podcasting for 10 years and having big, like those what are they called? The dream guest was like a normal thing for you guys. It was perfect. It was so
awesome.
Joe is very critical of our podcast. After every episode he listens to, I'm not even making this up. Joe texts me he said, he goes, I thought last episode was the best. He goes, but honestly, I swear this is the greatest podcast episode I've ever heard in my life. After every show he listens to ours.
No, he doesn't. Stop.
Every single one.
Stop it. That's what I say.
Chris, your episode that you were on was really good also.
I had so fun doing that. We did I forgot what we do.
You did Navi River,
we did Navi River.
No, you did the Mexican ride.
That no one can pronounce.
The Grand Fiesta Tour.
And I kid you not, I picked that ride because
Gran Turismo, the PS4 game.
And I kid you not, I picked that ride because I knew Alex would have a hard time pronouncing it, and he did, and I was right. That was it was really fun to be on and host because it's the podcast itself when you're recording is just so, like Scott, you say it's very organized, and it is, but Alex is so good at editing these podcasts. Like, we can go off and start talking about something, which I do a lot. We can go talk about something totally unrelated that'll never make the episode, and you'd never know we had the conversation. Yeah. It just so Scott, what I'm trying to say is this episode that you listen to, you're saying, like, with this guy, I'm a Patreon of Diz Hiz, so I get to watch these episodes live. Oh my gosh, this guy, he was talking, and I got to hear all this cool stuff that I'm not sure if everything made the episode because I didn't get to listen yet, but it's just like, you could tell the way he thinks is the way he works, because you look at these floating mountains and you have to think a certain way to be like, yeah, we can make mountains float.
Right.
And listening to this guy just unfiltered was one of the coolest things it's like a dream job, I think, that anyone would like to have. And to hear someone that's been there and done that was just so cool.
Yeah, for sure. So listen, if you only listen to one Diz Hiz episode, start at Main Street USA, the history of Main Street USA. And I mean, all the other episodes are fantastic. You're going to get hooked off of just that episode. It was inspiring, Joe. Like that's why I tried to call you afterwards, because I was like, the things that I have to say don't deserve a text message or a Facebook message. I gotta tell you how good that was. But
it's so crazy when you say that. I'm sorry, man. When you say things like that, I'm just like, I don't know even what to think. I don't know. I don't know,
Joe. The in that moment when I finished that episode, putting my words and my thoughts and my emotions into text message would not have done that justice. I was, and this is so silly, you're going to laugh, I was so happy for you guys that I had a single tear run down my face. And I'm not making that up. I was so excited for you guys, because it was just, as a content creator, as someone who's trying to, not only hear his own voice, but to entertain people and have our shows bring value, whether it just be through entertainment or we're actually, giving knowledge, that was educational. It brought a ton of value, and it was, as a content creator, inspiring.
No, thank you so much for saying that. It does mean a lot, especially from you, Scott. I mean, you've been in broadcasting, right? I mean, you're on the radio.
Yeah, I mean, I do some guest spots on Real Laughs, and I did I did an internet radio scam, years and years ago. But I did a lot of theater, so I'm very comfortable on a microphone.
So yeah, when it's coming from you, it means a lot. So thank you.
Thank you. Yeah. But anyway, Joe, look, thank you so much for jumping on here. It's an honor to have you on. Just remember us, little people. Okay.
I know.
Oh,
keep in touch. Keep in touch.
No doubt about it.
When you're accepting that award at the iHeart Music Awards for best interview for a podcast, just keep us, just remember us.
Oh, you guys are coming with me. Obviously it's not going to happen, but if it ever happens, you guys are coming for sure.
Beautiful. Well, and if we get invited to the Best of Orlando finals, you can come with us for that.
Oh yes, man.
Go down to Church Street
Is Chris
Station.
Is Chris coming down?
I'm coming down. I'm coming.
If we get an invite, that means we're in the top 3. Chris, that'll come down.
Yeah, I'm hitchhiking my way down there.
Yeah. I'm there.
Which will be perfect time. Which I don't know. We're going to find out soon. I don't know if they're doing a big event, but voting ends August 1st for vote.orlandoweekly.com. And then I think the results will be coming out like 2 weeks later.
I'm in the market for the new Delta variant. So I figured I'd stop down to Florida.
That's
all
funny.
Right. When we come back, I know Chris has a Walmart story to tell us, and Mary's still not here. So obviously the boys are going to just do whatever the hell we want. And as Joe said, this is going to be our ADHD episode. You're listening to the No New Friends podcast. We'll be right back. Oh, Joe, thank you so much for jumping on, man.
Who, me?
You ball busting.
I was texting Jared, man, before this. I was like, dude, why are you listening to their show, not ours?
All right, I'm gonna set this straight right now. When you're tonight could have not been the worst time for you. There was no way I would have been able to jump on that hour segment. I was texting you and I decided not to do it. I was busy doing schoolwork. I was eating my dinner. Just
You think you prioritize school over the Diz Hiz podcast, Jared?
Yeah, man, what are you doing, Jared?
I was working on unfortunately, Chris, yes. Like when I was working,
Unfortunately, yes.
this particular one have to been for my CAD class. I was working on my 3D final projects that's due next Saturday night. So I was working on that, trying to get. I should have that finished by tomorrow.
I guess it's a pretty good excuse. I guess.
Yeah, I'd say so.
Work before play. In this case, school.
Joe, can I would I be able to, because you put that little 1 minute preview on Facebook, right?
Yeah.
Or YouTube. Can I pull the audio and put it into this podcast of that 1 minute thing?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, cool.
You know how to do that, or I need to send it to you?
Oh, I can. I figured out a way to record anything that I want. I jump on Zoom, look at my ugly mug by myself, share screen, record, and then play whatever. And then
That's a good idea. I see what you're saying. That is a good idea.
Yeah, because I was so tired of, like, I only play 15 seconds. Like, if you listen to Ghost Train, there's 15 seconds of Hitchhiking Ghost.
Mm-hmm.
I never play any more than 15 seconds of a copyrighted song. That way I can't get busted or anything.
Is that real rule?
I don't know. I mean, I think so. That's what I hear.
That's what I hear too. So that's why we only play like short little segments of like audio,
10 to 15 seconds. No one's going to bother you.
Yeah. No, what a lot of people don't really understand either, I think, is that if you're promoting something, I think you can play whatever you want. So if you're like giving a review of something, I think that.
Yeah, but that's not what I'm doing.
I know. I'm just letting you know for something else. If down in the future, if you're like, oh, I'm going to go ahead and do something, you're like, well, if I'm reviewing it, maybe I can play it.
Right.
I gotcha. Just letting you know. I think
there's times when I think I don't know how Remby doesn't get. Then again, this is Zoom, so he doesn't give a care. But if it's some of his stuff, like we on the Diz journey, like some songs he plays, like I swore he was going to get a copyright strike almost immediately.
He's not going to get a copyright strike through Spotify because he's playing music from Spotify, but the other platforms he may. But I don't know. I don't know a bunch about that. But all right, let me